there she is.
Melanie.
Yeah. So my sleep is like quicksand, basically. So must build a foundation, but always slipping through. So it's just like that frantic energy. Like this girl is frantic. It really captures like I'm trying to do something for myself in reality, but like every time I go to fucking try it, it's like slipping away from me. So like I just got my first like step tracker, and like, you know, trying to take better care of my physical health. It's like always I have to start again. Because it's just like always slipping away from me to do the check-in of, you know, eat healthy, take your vitamin. Like it's just like, God, do I have to fucking do this? Like it seems so simple and basic, but it really is always slipping through my fingers.
Yes.
And it also, when I was looking at everybody else's avatars too, I saw, well, I'll let you guys talk about yours, but it signifies being trapped for me, which for sleep lasts.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
So it's like being chained to something and I can't get out, which is like one of my deepest fears at this point. Like it's like I'm trapped. And so like it's like either I'm slipping through quicksand or trapped. That's what sleep, doing something in fucking reality that you have to repetitively do feels like.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I think this is
Beautiful.
interesting. Like I feel like how I represented my, like I feel like I put that part of that aspect in my blast too, right? The slipping away of things.
Yes,
like
yes.
What you're describing, like I felt like that for whatever reason.
It is connected.
This feminine sensory is always that like slipping away. It's
slipping
like
away.
I can't
trying
get
to
enough,
remember.
Yeah, or something. It's like so it's like that in the blast too, because yeah, like for me it's like, oh, I'm not Elle Woods, but I appear as Elle Woods. It's like just can't get to what I fucking like need to do or whatever.
And then is it like the masculine TI is also like really wants to try to hold on? It's like because there's the masculine TI and it's like must hold on to this feminine.
Yeah, the frustration, like the way this girl looks when you know the AI fucking powers that be made that. I was like, yeah, that's it. Like the struggle right there.
Wow.
So does it feel like kind of like a farmer, like the work is never done kind of thing? Like there's always more to organize. There's always
she could be a farmer in those clothes. That's all I think of with farmer from Clueless.
No, I just mean like the work is never done. Like this sense of
yes, but it's like I don't even know what the work is. Like I can't get to it. It's just like that it's just all feel. It's almost like feeling, because it's just that girl's fucking expression in this avatar. She's like, I don't even know like what I have to do. Like I maybe do, but like I can't get there.
Yeah.
So the work is never done, but it's never even like, it's like it can't even find a foundation to begin on.
Yeah. Yes.
I see.
My God. Okay, and then I want to bring up one more thing that I thought was really interesting about this, since we just had Dave on recently, and he actually brought up kind of an analogy to SI as sand, although he was talking about it like grabbing, it's like SI is trying to grab this sand. And here, you made this before that interview.
Yes. It does. There's SI always feels like slipping away, like just sensory.
Yeah.
What is real? That's not like my big imagination. The fucking forceful imagination is like, how do I get a fucking grip on the slipping sand? I can't hold it.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you,
Melanie. Magda.
Okay, so it is the final. This is how it feels when I do sleep. It's a horror of constant reprocessing. So this is, but how to explain it? So I was thinking how to explain all what is going on inside me, because this is the most introverted animal. So it's very deep down inside me. So if I am a robot, inside my robot there is a person who is struggling. But how to explain it? So I was thinking, And I think the best thing, the best way to explain it is to go into analogy of maze. So I have a like, if you will imagine maze with many doors, and behind those doors will be some situations from my life, and I can go there and relieve them again and again and again. Like, my best way to do sleep is under shower. So I actually don't mind to relieve again some situations. But in my maze, there are forbidden areas that I don't go there. There are places that I'm not aware of. So there are like places in my life I'm missing. So it's my sleep last problem. But I am aware of some areas, but they are like forbidden ones. So I don't go there. I don't want to process them. And when I do, when I will decide to enter this forbidden area and relieve the like like enter the doors, one of the doors inside this forbidden area, I feel like this. So it's a horror. It's like horror movie on repeat. It's like hell on earth. And actually, I appreciate when I do it. Like, no, I don't, but how to say it? Like, it's the worst thing to do, because I don't want to feel those feelings, don't want to remember those things that were done then, and I don't want to face it, because it's easier to not, to just pretend it doesn't exist. It's not my problem. But actually it is, because if it affects my daily life for some reason, then it's just reasonably better to face it. But when I do, it feels like this. It's a horror. um and I'm not that brave enough to process it. Like, once I enter the place, I'm like solving my problem. No, it's like going there and then retreat. And maybe after a month or two, I will enter there for 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, and again, it's not like that I'm brave enough to go there and really process everything. Sometimes I need help, sometimes I need time. But it's nothing. It's something I feel fear. So when I asked Jasyn about his play being last, if he feels some kind of fear or anything, and he said not really, I was like, oh man, he's amazing. Wow, like it's amazing. Like, for me, sleep is something horrifying. At least for those areas that I'm really don't want to um like, I feel always not prepared, or not ready to do anything, and I'm not ready. But I will never be ready if I won't try and try and try. And there will be time then where when it will be like, I will never know if I am ready. So I need to try until I am. So that's how I process some of my problems in life. So this is at least my realization that everything can be solved, but it may need time or anything. Like, I need to be ready to do this. So yeah, but the processing of sleeping is horrifying.
I relate. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, revisiting known info is like, it seems like it's the most wrong thing ever for sleepless.
Yeah.
And I really like how there's kind of this
Ooh, it's pulling her. Yeah, or something.
or it almost looks kind of like sand, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh my God, holy shit.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I love that.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Any other? I feel like sleep is probably, we're gonna all be a bit more like, right? Yeah.
Right. It's harder to talk about, for sure.
No, I relate so much.
Yeah. And it's just like the two introvert. It's like you have your thing to say, and I don't know, totally ending it. Okay, thank you so much, Magda.
Yeah.
Here, Sasha's.
So I am very grateful that our TI is involved in our sleep, because it is very a nice anchor that we are fortunate enough to have as being kind of glass lizardy. That it is not, I feel like it's not a completely useless animal. Nobody's last animal is completely useless, but it's definitely a nice anchor. And actually, speaking on Magda's, it kind of reminded me when you said like the horror of it. It reminded me of when, I first saw the movie Memento, and how the SI is kind of, I guess, our memory, and it just, to me, I feel like I'm cheating life. And I've said this before, even before I knew about all of this stuff. I feel like I wake up in the morning and I'm cheating life, because I feel like I don't remember anything. And not only is that like the feminine SI, like I research and I research and I research and I research, and it kind of filters into the feminine SI sleep, but it just kind of disappears. So I do the same research over and over and over, but our lives are based on our memories to a great extent. And I remember concepts very well. I remember stories, and but I don't necessarily remember the names or the people who are in them, the blob of the tribe. I don't remember a lot of people's faces. I could have had a whole conversation with you and you come up to me the next day, especially out of context, and I don't remember you. But I remember after watching the movie Memento, and the fact how much of somebody's life is based on that SI or their version of memory, and the fact that this character really had that just extremely short-term memory. And I just woke up screaming. I think that was like one of the very first night horrors that I'd ever had. I'd had plenty of nightmares, which I could handle very well. But just, I woke up and I was screaming, because that was just, when you talk about the horror of sleep, of really trying to process that, I think that hit me so hard, because I feel like I don't necessarily when I'm specializing in something and really focusing on it, I feel like my SI is working for me. But with everything else, it's almost all NT. And I'm like constantly just figuring it out as I go. And I do it so well that people think I'm remembering things. It's like, it's a strange feeling. I just feel like I'm cheating the system somehow, but by being sleep last. I don't know if anybody who's listening can understand what I'm saying. I'm sure somebody can, but this is another version here. I've tried to, our ST sleep has always been really difficult for me to understand. So really trying to listen to, especially Shan's live shows, when she describes it, has been helping me this year. So just the quiet, grounded peace needed to focus and create a reality from dreams. But then the SI being just so elusive, I do feel like it does slip back, like you were saying, Melanie, and like you were saying, Magda, kind of back into the dream. And then I have to kind of pull it back, and as you can see in the picture here, just kind of trying to be grounded. And it's that I feel like nature is a really big part of my ST. And you can see the nature is also kind of intermersed with the TI kind of wires and and things like that. And then, of course, here are the crows.
Yep.
The clever crows, which I feel like I use for a kind of guide there. So to me, my sleep isn't nearly as emotional as my blast. It's very just kind of, the TI really helps. It's really just very personal, and if I actually do it, it's probably one of the best feelings in the world. So
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yep. Are there two crows because of Norse mythology?
No. What is your take on that, Julie?
Oh man, I feel it. I wish I had the better masculine sensory on this. I just remember, right? Odin has is it one's memory, and what's the other one? But the one is memory, right?
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're your guides. Those specific crows.
Yeah.
Like those are. It's probably exactly what Julie's saying. They just like showed up in your dream, like guide you. Holy shit!
See, I'm like cheating life. Yeah, sure. Yes, that's what I meant, Julie.
Beautiful. I mean, and right to the opposite of that, I mean, ST and NF are poles that are necessary together, right? And it's wonderful whenever there's these connections that you see across the culture with, Norse mythology and Sasha's dreams.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, I love this. We're sleepy. We're getting sleepy. We're all gonna go.
The crows do show the element of comfort, like the TI there that like helps you through with the slippery. The sensory is just our worst fucking nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love, Sasha, you have like elements that to me I don't necessarily think about, but then when you say it, like you said that he's grounded, and I love that. And like I didn't understand that, but now that I know that, I see it and I feel it, and it's really cool that you express that.
I remember a friend of mine when I was about 18 years old said, "You are like floating. You're not even touching the ground. You need to come down." And I think he was saying in OPS terms, you need to practice your sleep.
Yes. Oh my gosh. They knew.
Yeah.
This is actually really helpful to think of taking like the crows are really just fucking talking to me, but like taking a sensory talisman or like something that can help you face doing the sensory. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
Super interesting.
Yes. I know. We'll all be Googling that later. At least I will be Googling that to remember it, because I want to go back and consume that. Love that. Okay, thank you, Sasha. Next is Bley.
Hello, how are you doing? How are you guys today? Shit, I forgot everything I was going to fucking say.
Sleep is masculine, double masculine for you.
Yeah, double masculine. Yes, there is so much I could say about sleep. I feel like, okay, on one hand, I am grateful for double masculine ST sleep because it is very void of feelings and drama and emotions and pulling, and so that's a good thing and a bad thing, because by myself it's like an icy tundra. And I always used to say this even before OP, because I feel like, because it's NE and FE, right? Those are the lively kind of extroverted functions I have. So by myself, I'm left with ST. And I like that picture of the robot like trying to find the heart, because there's so much that you guys said that I was just thinking about. Like, for example, how much of a prison nostalgia can be, and how much of a prison, because I have very vivid memories, and I'm almost bombarded with the memories of what happened, and what remains is the ST of it. Is I don't have masculine N. Like, I remember the people, I remember the facts of the situation and vividly, and everything. And so I'm left with the void by myself, which is it's hard to, like Sasha said, it's hard for me to even understand what ST sleep is like what the hell. But I'm grateful that I feel like I hear other people talk in different function stacks, and they, under the surface, they have so much, let's say, bitterness or forgiving they need to do, or like all these emotions and things like that. And I'm not so much like that. It feels very stagnant by myself, just like void of color, right? That's why it's very colorless. And I used to, like, I feel like I spent my life running from it, but at the same time, it's something that has caught up, right? It catches up to you. Like, you're forced to do it after being chaotic for so long. So there's so much I want to say, but I feel like it's all slipping my mind. But basically that's it. And all I could write about it was like, it's the void. Like, you know, because it's what were you gonna say?
It's so hard. It was my smallest sentence. It's so hard to write about sleep. Yeah.
No, you're so right. And I'm like, fuck, you know, because it can't just be journaling. What? How's, you know, you can practically, and that's maybe research, because that's who knows? And so it's difficult, but I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for my mind in the way that I'm very rational by myself. The storm is not there. It is not a dramatic place by myself. It's a very it's numb. It's numbness. Oh yeah, that's something I remember, that the apathy of it all. That's what I wanted to say. That's why it's the void, because it's like it's also a place where I'm very apathetic towards anything. Like, I'm very by myself. I'm just very, it's so hard for me to be moved. It's, you know, I'm so, and it's this emptiness of feeling, and all I'm left with is my brain and the research and the figuring out the facts, and then the blah blah blah. So and it's funny because you'll have these big blow up arguments in your life, right? And then I'll just go into the other room and be like, whew. I mean, obviously, you know, depending on how big it is, like, obviously you have to calm down a little bit, but it's really easy for me to calm down by myself. Like, I just, you know, the feelings aren't there, and it's almost jarring for people how different I can be from, like, because that's how FE works. And so if I'm and then at the same time, I'm like, I get to the place where I'm like, I need to feel alive. I need to get out of the void. I need to feel like life has color.
Yeah.
And it won't happen by myself. I need to go to an amusement, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's lonely and it's apathetic, it's numb, but there's the numbness can be addicting. Apathy can be addicting. And so I have to be careful not to allow myself to jump into that abyss of apathy and ST and just, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about anything. The world could explode in front of me. Who cares? I don't. Shit. You know what I mean? So
I feel like, does that give you a really strong power of like processing darkness though when it does come by? And
yeah, I wanted to work. I mean, I didn't, but I wanted to work in criminology and criminal psychology. So, and I feel like I have the ability to look into really dark cases and situations, and I'm not affected by it, but I am able to stay objective. And that was something that I learned when I was young, that I was like, why am I able to stay so objective in these really emotionally scarring, crazy situations? Because growing up the way I grew up, there was always testimonies around me. It was just a very rehab-like environment, right? It's a self-help-ish. So you get testimonies and everything. And I am moved by things all the time. But I realized I had the ability to stay objective and to not be moved by myself. And I was like, I want to use this for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the power in it. Exactly.
Yeah, when you just pointed that out, I was like, that's really fucking helpful to be able to, I guess, dissociate or just separate.
Right. Yeah. Especially by myself. Especially by myself. Like, and it's like, oh, I need to think of objectively about this situation. So I'm just going to go by myself. You know what I mean? I don't need a journal. I don't need to do anything about it. But it's weird. And I feel like my friend was saying the other day is that there's a, maybe this is wrong or maybe this is right. Someone can correct me. But there's a bigger gap between, like, let's say FFE and NTI than FI and TE. Like, there's just such a big gap between NTI and extroverted feeling. It's hard to understand, and that goes back to sleep, because sleep is just the introverted functions, and the gap between that and my play functions, which are double feminine, is so big and jarring. It gets people in friendships, they get confused. I thought you were this person. I thought you were my purse. I thought you were my gay best friend. That's just the little purse that I carry around and is there for my little FE happy feelings. No, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, get to know me. You get to the actual objective, kind of harsher. And so people they create this idealized version of you based on the feminine feeling and the feminine extroverted feeling. And they sort of, oh, he's going to be there to make me feel good. But then 2 weeks later, bitch, I'm not there to reassure you anymore. I just don't have that in me. That's not who I am. I don't care. So, you know what I mean? Cry on your own shoulder, goddamn. So, yeah. And a lot of people say, like, I feel like a lot of the FIs and their MTE, they're like, oh, get to the bottom of me. I'm just a little marshmallow. You're in the underworld now. And that's okay. And I've made peace with that. And I love Hades. So, yeah. Yeah. So the void, because, it is. And I really like the little person in the eye.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm like, that's it. Art is special because that, to me, it's such a simple little drawing, but it conveys so much emotion. Yeah. I feel the apathy, the numbness, the sadness, and the loneliness of what, you know what I'm saying? So that's on it. Sorry, I'm going crazy at this point.
Void.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Void.
I love it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just like soaking that in, because it's like you have powers that it's like are shaped by functions that I have and all these things, but I don't necessarily have the same powers you do, but I love hearing it and soaking it in. And something about this too, and I'm so sorry that I always do this, but I do feel like you're a one. I don't know why. Like, something about the things that you just said, like, I feel that.
I agree. I've been on the one train for like 2 months now, and then the Dave video threw me through a loop.
I mean, it's so hard, and maybe you are a one wing three, right? Which Dave said, and we don't know like what all that means and whatever. And oh
my gosh. Sorry, you just remembered something about sleep that I also wanted to say. You remembered me. Thank you so much for that. Is that sleep? Shit, I forgot again. Fuck.
Aww.
Now you know how we feel.
Yeah.
That's
with the sensory just goes away, like just like that
all the time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Love it though, Bley.
Oh, remembered. Okay, you're protective over it. You're protective over, and it's when I think it was Shan or Dave or Shave or whoever, who cares, said one time TIs are protective over their little plan, and the way they said that, I'm like, bitch. Yes, don't touch my little plan, because people come up. How are you? You have all these goals. How are you going to get there? Let's TE this. Let's TE your goals. No, I'm going to kill you. I don't want to TE. Like, don't talk to me about my little plan and my life And they're like, but how are you gonna achieve this? I'm like, it's none of your goddamn fucking business how I'm gonna fucking achieve this. It is my business. That is my business. They're like, oh, you want to lose this amount of weight? What are you gonna do about it? That's my problem. That's my problem. You know what I mean? I don't like the little T. It feels very invasive when they're like, oh, so you want to have this amount of money by this? No. That's my job. That's my job. I'm gonna
That's interesting. I love TE, but I will just disregard what I don't want.
Right. Exactly.
but the difference is I do love it. I love it when I get TE, because then I'm like, oh, this one. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and all the rest, nothing's okay.
No, I get irrationally angry when it comes to certain things, jobs, especially career jobs and money, things like that. When they want to TE it for, let me organize. I'm like, you don't know me. Oh my God. Like, what is going, you know what I mean? Like, I need to give someone expressed authority over certain aspects of things before I want their fucking advice. But I'm really good with boundaries, and I'm really good at being like, I don't want your advice. Like, I didn't ask for that advice. Shush, you.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, I can relate to that irrational anger over, like, don't touch my identity, my what I need to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. You can do that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do my TI. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so uncomfortable when they're just like, leave me
Like,
alone.
how did you even? It does seem like it's like, I hate using the word inappropriate, but it's like, how did you think you had any fucking audacity to say this? Like, like it seems
exactly.
Like
it's so silly too. It'll be like, how are you getting prepared for this job interview? I'm like, wow, why did you kill my mother?
Yes.
Hello? Like, are you killing my dog right in front of me right now? What's going on?
Oh my God.
Is that part of this where, like, this is like, you're like, I open it and I close it?
That is me OCDing myself. It's the inner turmoils and the figuring outage of the self-research, the Wikipedia deep dives, the you know what I mean? It's the figuring, because it's TISI at the end of the day, you know, let me figure all of this. And then I learned a lot about even TISI with learning about OCD, how does the disease of doubt, how more thinking will make it worse. I was never told that in my life, that more logic can make my mental illness worse. When the therapist said that, it's like, more logic, more rationality, more research will make your OCD worse. I was like, whoa, like, I've never thought about that before, how that is a compulsion, and more information on things and more research on things and more facts on things is not always the answer. It'll make it worse sometimes, because some things just don't have answers.
Wow, really good.
Yeah, that's where you can see the like full stop force of your double masculine sleep, whereas ours is like slippery. Like your void just seems like it's like a wall or something.
Yeah, no, it's very immovable.
Yeah,
and I'm working on it. Honestly, I don't want to be proud of my shortcomings, but I'm so like, with my room, my stuff, my things, and protective, and it's jarring because people see what they see, that your extroverted functions, and my extroverted functions are feminine and my introverted ones are masculine. So I see the valley of a gap between my two masculines, so.
Yeah, I was seeing that as well. But I really like the quote by Dan Carlin. It's copyright your flaws. So I'm for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think,
well, like Fat Amy, that's always comes to mind, which is like, I call myself Fat Amy, so skinny bitches like you don't do it behind my back. That was kind of my motto for a very long time. Like, I'm gonna own what I would be insecure about before you can make fun of me for it, right? So, and that's a very conscious thing. And I feel like that goes back to branding and flex, because I'm very aware of branding, I'm very aware of flex, and I'm very aware of like what would be the negative comments that I would get on this, I don't know, whatever the fuck. And so, yeah, and so like branding myself as like a villain or whatever. Like, so I come with a warning label kind of bullshit.
Love that. Love it. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I feel like I learned so much more about my sleep.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sorry. And like how goofy. I'm like, thanks for my consume. Anyway.
No, I really hope I made sense. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
was
I don't
great.
know if I made any goddamn sense. I don't know if I said anything that I wanted to say. But I was yeah, and I very much probably struggled to understand this out of everything the most. Yeah. And that's including other quadras. Like that's including NF sleep. That's including all kinds of sleep, all kinds of functions. Out of all of them, I feel like this is the one that I'm like, what to do? What is this necessarily?
Oh, fascinating. It is a hard one. Thank you, Bley. I think there's only 2 left now.
Well, and Jason's, he has sleep second and it's double activated. I barely had to, I actually didn't help him with this one. So he's
cool.
This was so easy for him. So just let you know.
Love it. Love it. Jasyn, would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, it's really interesting listening to all you guys talk about sleep because I feel like everything that Magda said, I'm like the exact opposite. It's just like if you locked me in an empty room and took away my consume, I'd be like, okie doke, bye, and I would just disappear. And inside my head, there's just this wonderful museum that I'm happy to go and spend all my time in. If I need to. In fact, I probably would spend all my time in there if I didn't make myself come back out again. Nothing scares me in there at all. In fact, touching on what Sasha said about nightmares, like she wakes up from nightmares screaming. I wake up like, holy shit, that was awesome. How do I get back there? I'm amazed by things like that I come up with in my head. And yeah, I just I like I said, I all that consume, I file away into these boxes, and I've got shelves and shelves and shelves of boxes, and I just sit in there and I sift through them and I look at stuff and I remember stuff and I organize and I, like I said, sometimes I just admire. I'm just like, oh, this is cool. This thing that I've got in here. I'm just very happy to be in there.
Do you have certain places that you like to go to do that? Like how does your environment impact?
So no, not really. And this was the hardest picture for me to get the AI to create. And artistically, it's not my favorite of the ones that I got, but it was the only one that had everything that I wanted the way that I wanted it. And I specifically chose an environment of a crowded room because I will do exactly that. I will be in the middle of a crowded room with all this commotion and carrying on, and I will just disappear and not even know what's happening around me anymore. I'm just in there, and enjoying my own stuff.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. No, I felt like exactly the play last was communicated very clearly as soon as I saw this picture. I felt like exactly that you can do that. It's like you're like, I don't have to get pulled in. Like I do not, right?
Yeah. And I can, like I said, when I use the analogy of like a being locked in an empty room, I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours of my life I have spent literally just staring at a wall, not looking at anything around me, just being inside my head. And it's not a void for me at all in the slightest. It is full of things and full of life and full of, all my feelings and all my, just everything is in there. And then I just swim through it.
That's awesome.
I wish we could do a whole episode on this because I'm like, how? Like how? It's so scary to get into bed.
I relate. I have a question. Is it easy for you to pull up information in your head? Like, for me, it's easy, like, for me to go, like, oh, China, what do I have on China? And it's like a Wikipedia I pull up in my brain. I do the same thing. I do the exact same thing. But it's impossible for me not to pull it in. That's, like, the difference. But I really like your explanation. I totally relate to having that systemized computer-like system in your head of being able to like sort information. I do the same exact thing, and it's always hard for me to describe to people.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And if I'm, and again, because I love the consume, but if you take that away, I have such a storage of things, you know. And kind of going with the blast, I'll blast to myself, you know, because you talked earlier about the inner monologue. Like, yeah, I am 90% inner monologue. Like, I'm constantly talking to myself. And if I have nobody else to like teach something, I will just reteach myself stuff I already know, obviously, because it's in my own head. But I'll be like, all right, let's talk about this thing today. It is just saying this to myself in my own head, and I'll just go, you know, as if I were teaching a class on this thing. I'll just do it for myself, and I take a lot of pleasure from that.
What's the like, if you were, so you're blasting to yourself, what's the angle of it? Like, what are you talking about when you're blasting to yourself? Like, what are you teaching? Like,
Anything.
give an example.
I just pick something. It might be like a concept I'm interested in. It might be something physical, like even something dumb, like if there's like a series of movies I like, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to talk about each one of these movies and everything I like and dislike about it. I'll just go down the list. However much time I have to kill, you know, I'll pick a topic that's in there, and I'll just talk about it as if I'm telling somebody for the first time.
God, that's so like awesome.
Yeah, he just did that with the 3-body problem, Magda. We just read that in our book club, and you know, just to understand the concept of the 3-body problem, he was researching it and then kind of blasting it during book club. But yeah, and one thing, if you look around, like what they pointed out just recently in what was that guy's name from Princess Bride? Who's your type twin?
Mandy.
Oh, Mandy Batikin.
Yeah, you know, like how he was talking about his trains, you know, and things like that, and how personal they are to him. I think that kind of maybe fits in with your sleep a little bit. Well, your masculine SI, because look at around him, all of his his collections of things. I really think collections have a lot to do with if you have sleep high, and especially if you have SI last. I know I keep saying this, but if you have a function that's lower, even if you use it all the time, it's still, I feel like, a little bit of a child, you know. Yeah. So you will have things that you like, kind of, that are childlike, maybe. You know, not that comics are childlike, but they are, you know, in a way. And then, you know, all of the figurines and things like that. I know I do that too with my SI a little bit. You know, some of the things that I have kept are a little bit reminiscent of being a little bit childlike as well. Even anyway,
yeah, my favorite SI things too.
I feel like that's also any imagination, because I love comics. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender more than anything, cartoons, and you know, the house down. Like, I love all of it. And I used to feel guilty about a lot of my interests being childlike or something like that. But then I just thought, I think it's then I figured it's any imagination, and kids are obviously, they live in a more imaginative universe and stuff like that. So I think that's also a part of it.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, very, very good.
And all this shit around me, that's what the inside of my head looks like also.
Nice.
I do that with information, you know. And I forget what I was doing. It wasn't that long ago. I was doing something, I don't remember what it was, but I told Sasha, I was just like, man, everything's a fucking museum for me. Like, everything. Like, everything has to be like, you know.
And you're the curator.
Complete, like, look at this collection of things that I have. And it's like that with my thoughts, with the information in my head also. You know, I'm happy to just like collect all this information up. And that's where the consume really, you know, comes in, you know, for me, is I just want more and more and more. And then I just want to have it all in there, and then I'll just sit there and like look at it.
I love his blast. It's so great. It's like hearing just the most wonderful stories. So yeah.
Like I said, I'm very excited for Grolix to come out. I have a question. Is it a visual? Is there a visual component to your headspace?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, vividly visual in there.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so literally like rooms with boxes and you go over and pull a thing out.
Sure, yeah. And when people say that they don't see pictures in their heads, like that's impossible to me. Like I can't even imagine what that's like. Like I have nothing but pictures in my head.
Yeah.
It's interesting because my visual is like my play, because it's like my memories. I guess when I recall things though, I do have the easiest time if I have written it down. I can picture the words again. Does that make sense? But I guess I don't quite have a headspace room. I feel like it's my play that gets very visual, like making up stuff.
Making up stuff is a lot more vivid. Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for
I have a memory palace too. I relate to maybe that's an MSI thing because and I pull up the files and I'm like, what do I have on this?
Oh, so cool. That is
definitely from Bley and Jasyn, like the pull up the files, or like just the sorting the boxes in your mind and like files. That is foreign. I feel like that's masculine sensory. It's so epic and awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I'm good at trivia, because I'll just pull it up. I'll be like, oh wait, oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just there for you. Like it doesn't fucking betray you.
Yes. Oh.
I feel like I'm always adding to the internal encyclopedia in my head too. Always adding. That's why I wanted to know about the coyotes, because I'm like, I know a lot about crows. I know a lot about octopi. Whatever comes up, and I go to the category.
You did, yeah. So that was very genuine. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And also, And
as far as being, afraid of what's in your head, like I said, just nothing. Like whatever happens in my head, it's just like, okay, that's what we're doing today. All right.
He's a very calming person to be around.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
It's like, this is how the world goes round type of stuff. Like you can get like, I don't know if there's like purposes for people or whatever, but it's interesting that like we are built this way. Like maybe our purpose or whatever purpose lies in play blast, where like sleep blast, like Jasyn is doing that, like for either like for the world or like over here, like our functions, our 512 is just like, wow. And it really is like a calming influence. So it just, I mean, whether it's purpose, whatever or not, it's just like interesting how it takes all different kinds to make the world go around type of shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we're thinking about extroverted stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get what you mean.
More calmly.
Yeah. That is so funny. I don't think you were here. I said something almost completely the exact same thing. I'm like, purpose. Yeah, we were both
crazy. So you thought I was like bullshitting, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't hear that.
No, you weren't here. No, we just had the same type of thought.
She did say that. Yeah.
We often have like very similar thought processes. I feel like.
Yeah.
Process I.
I'm gonna say it like that from now on.
Love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jasyn. And I am gonna bring us to the next one. Mine is just Arthur from Inception. And I have to say, I really actually felt like Jasyn spoke to me quite a bit, although I don't have the masculine SI like order and that he and Bley have, the really strong recall. But to me, when I was processing my sleep, I kind of put it as order with finesse. I feel like my sleep is kind of cleaning up after everyone, because every day it's like consume, play, blast is just making all these messes. And then I like to try to, at the end of the day, bring some order, bring some processing. And I feel like my sleep is very diligent and very calm and kind of, also kind of like Bley said, there's not much emotion to my sleep or how I feel about it. I feel like a lot of my feminine sensory, for whatever reason, I kind of put my freak out into like my blast. That feels like to me where is a bit more.
Yep.
But I feel like Arthur, it's like, even though the world is spinning around him, even though Cobb and Ariadne are just causing disaster left and right, it's like he just goes and he just takes care of it. The whole, he's in, if you know Inception, it's like everything just literally starts spinning around him. And he's just like, okay. And he just comes up with solutions, takes care of these guys who are just coming at him, still gets everything done. And that's how sleep feels
That
for
is
me.
also so inspiring. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Solver.
Yeah.
Thank you. When I can do it, right? It's like I'm not doing this as often as I would like, but when I do it, it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that. Yeah.
So like a solver, like a
Taking care of business.
Yeah. It's not it's not emotional if you do it right. Yeah. You take it in a little bit at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say right. I mean, I don't want to say like this, like, but this is just
I understand.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking of the functions SITI, but it's all interconnected. So you always have the FE.
And when you get that discipline around it, like when you just practice it a bit, it becomes like that. Like it's like the world is moving around you like that, but you got it. It's like moving steadily.
Right.
Yeah. Do we have any last thoughts on sleep and what all we saw? I feel like I made these pages, but it's like we really dug through it really well as we went, you know.
Yeah. I can see the movement in all of them, and then there's like I'm just very fascinated with the like calmness of the sleep savior, obviously. Like
I feel like this one is the most distinct one.
Yeah.
Meaning all of ours are so distinct when the other ones kind of matched.
Yeah.
Good point.
So true. Okay. Oh, this was beautiful. Yeah, my German Shepherd is climbing on me. So okay, so well, thank you very much, everyone, for sharing. It was such a great experience. Thank you both, Bley and Jasyn, for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Playing with us.
I had a great time.
Being our guest.
Yay. Okay. Well, bye, everyone. So that's the end of the episode. We'll say sleep on it.
Sleep on it.
Episode.